Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Breakfast in Bed. We have a guest in the house, and we're talking about something very important, a topic of concern. It's been a topic of concern over the years, and still, many people fear for what it might bring in the future. I'm also kind of scared of what it might bring in the future because I see some things on social media and I'm wondering if it can do this, then haha, it can do so many things that we've not even started seeing or planned to see. So my guest is a business development manager and he has 10 years, more than 10 years experience in fintech and banking. Is a tech guy. So we're going to talk about tech today. Today we're talking about the abuse of artificial intelligence, popularly known as AI. The way they say AI. Wow, AI. Even those that call it AI, like, do they even know what AI is? AI, this is AI, that is AI. So we're talking about the abuse of AI, artificial intelligence. My guest is Ifeanyi Olabode. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Super excited to be here every time I'm here.
Thank you very much. Now let's get straight into AI. First of all, before we talk about the abuse of it, in layman's language, just very easy, what is artificial intelligence?
Okay, so for the benefit of those at home, I would try to not be so techy about this conversation so that everyone can understand and be carried along. So artificial intelligence is a computer system. I said I was not going to be techy. I already started with computer system. Is a system where, you know, we have trained to act like us, human, and also learn from us and help us make decisions. Simple. So, you know, the same way you have kids at home, you train them, you know, just now imagine this is our baby in the tech industry, right? Where we have trained to, if we are not available or if we are busy or if we cannot think really fast, to just help us make those critical decisions and help us, you know, make decisions primarily. I think that's the summary of what AI is, you know, in a very simple way. To understand AI properly, you need to understand, you know, where it gets this information and decision from, right? It's pretty much what we put on the internet, right? So AI is pretty much learning from all the resources that has been online, you know, all of the, just see it as Google. You know, we Google search previously, but now it's gathering all this information and making one single decision and giving it to you. So for instance, if you say most beautiful lady in Nigeria, right? Google search will give you maybe hundreds of people, right? But now what artificial intelligence is doing is it goes online, gather all the information together and give you just one result. I say, according to what I know or what I think Omotola is the most beautiful, you know, woman in Nigeria. And it's making that decision based on the information it has gathered online, right? So, and that is the danger as well, because if I am very loud about maybe Omotola being the most beautiful, and there's so many information about it, it's going to tell you that's the most beautiful, which means it might be wrong, you know, because it's just giving you the information that it has gathered. And over time, it's been very biased because we didn't build AI in Africa. The contributions, you know, from Black people or Nigerians as a whole in building artificial intelligence, especially the popular one, ChatGPT, and the rest, is very low. We did not contribute in those information that the AI is using to generate results. So most of the information that it gives us is very biased towards the white. Let's start with that first of all, and that's one of the most, you know, troubling thing about artificial intelligence, to speak.
Okay, so I want to get a very close understanding of how it works. I might not get the full understanding because I'm not a tech person, but I want to get a very close understanding. So you mentioned about, for instance, most beautiful, Google brings thousands, AI brings one. So now does AI results, does it work with, in your words, the loudest, or does it work with tally? Just because this particular person has 50,000 results previously, and others have maybe 20,000 or 10,000 things about them on social. So would it always subscribe to the one that has most on social media or most on the internet as the best result?
Thank you very much. And this leads me to the second point where, buttress the point I made earlier, as a matter of fact, because there are different models and brands of AI. There's Gemini, there's Claude, there's ChatGPT, and sometimes they are built slightly different to make decisions differently, right? ChatGPT you've trained this AI, as I said, kids are trained differently and they behave differently, right? As I said, let me use the child as to explain this, right? It could be that I train my child, when you see a visitor, prostrate to greet. Some could say, when you see a visitor, say good morning, good afternoon, So it depends on how these AI models are trained. That would determine how the result would come out, right? Some would train their AI to say the frequency, which is the most, as you say, the tally. If I get to hear Omotola multiple times, then I think that's the most beautiful woman.
Seems you have something with Omotola.
Yes, because or Genevieve, some could say if important blog say this is it, then that is it, right? Okay. So you could there's a bias with that already, because one could say it is Genevieve because maybe CNN mentioned her. And AI will like, if CNN could mention Genevieve as the most beautiful woman, that means she's the most beautiful woman. Yeah. The other could say, there are thousands of blogs saying is Nancy. Okay, let me change before you say I'm beautiful. Nancy. Then Nancy should be the most beautiful woman in Nigeria.
So it doesn't work on fact.
So it doesn't work on fact. It works based on how it's been trained. Exactly. So that's the major danger.
So I feel like we're getting to that stage where we're getting too attached to AI, because go online, you see videos and you can't even differentiate between what is real and what is fake. And a very good example is we've seen adverts these days. I don't want to mention names. They're using AI compared to back in those days where there are people who are being selected for roles like that and they get to pay them. So do you feel like it's going to affect people when it comes to their income?
Absolutely, and it worries me. I studied economics, so I understand the economic dimension around this, because it has happened before. I mean, nothing new happens on it, right? During the Industrial Revolution in the 1814 and 19s, right? We had industrialization. Before we could do things with our hands, there was now machinery to do stuff. People lost their job, right? However, despite people losing their job, there was also people learning how to now use those machines, right? So you lose your job, but there was the right balance.
But the one still controlling the machine.
Yes. All you need to do was just to go learn and come back and stuff. So it was a good balance. Yes, there was a vicious circle of poverty for a bit, but yeah. But for AI, the danger of AI is people are losing their job. The co-founder of Twitter, the one that sold Twitter to Elon Musk, Jack, sacked 5,000 staff just last week because, according to him, all of their roles could be done with AI. Do you know what 5,000 is? Now, the children, the family of those people, so people are not getting jobs with AI because AI, to the business owner, according to them, is very efficient, right? But money. If you are saving money, but people cannot afford to buy these things because people are losing their job, at the end of the day, we are all going to be in a circle of poverty where you are saving money for your business. Yes, you are more efficient, but people cannot subscribe to that business. People cannot buy those things because your customers are losing their jobs in their workplace as well, because everybody's, letting go of their staffs out of, AI can do your role right now. So it's a circle. We are all going to, as people say in Nigeria, we'll meet in front where I can't afford your stuff. You sacked me, I can't afford, nobody can afford. Everybody's now an entrepreneur, one-man business, using AI for, their roles. So I feel like there should be a good balance, right? Because yes, AI is also, efficient, and people are picking up AI roles. However, the rate at which people are losing roles is way high. I'm talking about like 1,000% of the amount of AI roles that people are getting and earning. So the net is very concerning. In a month, you probably have about hundreds of roles being laid out because AI is picking up the roles, and we are probably having like hundreds of new job offers these are people that can actually use AI, or people that can train AI, right? It's efficient, right? But it is not good for the economy. It's very worrisome. So I would always advocate the right balance where humans are still needed. AI is still, we are not at the point where AI could do everything right now at the point.
Sorry
We'll
to
get there,
actually
but not
sorry
yet.
to cut you short, because I actually saw one start saying therapists are actually at it down now because people barely even come in for sessions anymore. And that brings us to ChatGPT. Everybody wants to go online. They are feeling this way. Everybody, let me pick
Do
up
you
my
use
phone.
Chat
I don't.
GBT
I
for
don't.
therapy?
Some people do, but I don't.
you?
I don't.
Do you?
No, I don't.
Have you been on Twitter? People do
People
use ChatGPT
do.
for therapy, and it's
Well, not just therapy,
worrisome. First of all, as I said previously, right, these things are trained by mostly white people. In recent times, we've been seeing, black contribution, but they don't understand our relationship dynamics here in the part of the world. Polygamy is not even allowed in the
Are you
US.
sure they don't?
No, they really don't.
Okay.
They really don't understand our dynamics, to be fair. And we need our own artificial intelligence. We need artificial intelligence championed by Africans, championed by Nigerians, where we understand, the intricacy. If my dad can marry 3 wives, and I understand the dynamics between the 3 wives, and when I'm going for therapy, it understands. Oh, you're from. They don't have that in America.
You just
right?
there are 3
They're
wives.
like,
Why 3
the
wives?
ChatGPT will be like, okay, what's going on here? Why?
Yeah.
There's an example in last year where ChatGPT actually advised a wife to actually divorce the husband, and the husband sued ChatGPT. Like, why would you advise my wife to divorce? Because these are things that we could actually settle. So yeah, the case is still in court.
Before you talk, so in a typical Nigerian mentality, I want to now talk like a Nigerian. So if that happens in Nigeria, can you imagine a Nigerian man saying a machine?
They
is
tell you
telling my
what to do.
You see, that's the typical Nigerian mentality.
See, but
So I understand.
I wanted to ask a different question,
All right.
but see, let's be realistic here. Yes, this AI are being trained by the whites, or it's a robot or something, but let's be realistic. When you tell ChatGPT how you feel, word for word, be truthful, be sincere, AI is going to, okay, let me not say AI, ChatGPT is going to tell you what you actually don't want to hear, which is actually the bitter truth.
Have you done that before?
I was about to say it.
Of
because
course,
when
I mean,
Have you done that
we're not
before?
yet
So when I
seeing
asked about using it as therapy, you said no.
I
done that before.
I can't use that in therapy, but I have people. No. I have people that say they talk to ChatGPT.
Now they have people.
like their
Okay.
boyfriend
Now
or
they have
their
people.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Just because why they don't trust you, man. You won't tell me what I want to hear because why you're either jealous of me or something. So just like I'm coming to meet you now, you're not going to tell me what I want to hear.
When you are detaching away from humans
And having a conversation
It's
with
a
AI.
robot.
I feel it's not.
that's robots.
Is it a bad thing?
So there are 2 sides of it, right? A robot or ChatGPT or AI in general don't have the emotional nuance that humans have, right? You might be depressed right now, and I understand, and I'll first let you rant, as just talk, see your mind, pour out your heart before I begin to tell you, okay, you didn't do, you yourself, you didn't do this thing well. But ChatGPT could just go straight to the point. I know you're sad, but you're at fault, so why are you crying? You get, and that's the nuance that, some of these AI don't have yet, and we cannot totally replace human emotions from, AI doesn't really have emotions.
And they will never.
No, but sorry, I'm going to cut you.
And sometimes that nuance is very important.
If I'm going to cut you when it comes to emotions and ChatGPT, and then asking, I think Chats GPT, right?
Yeah.
Goes straight to the point. But I think it has a sort of emotional understanding of saying, I understand how you feel. This is right.
Sometimes, that's why I say
this is this. But which many humans will be like, well, you messed up. What you did is rubbish. But you see, ChatGPT would tell you to calm down. They understand the emotions. What you did was from a place of emotions, but yes, this and this and this and this. A friend of mine used this past week, and I saw it, and I was like, okay, wow. So they actually understand, they acknowledge emotions before now telling you the right thing to do.
Yeah, so first of all, I would say that no good therapist, absolutely none, will not tell you exactly what you need to hear. Absolutely none. They are professionals, right? And I also would like to say that I'm a very big fan of artificial intelligence. I use ChatGPT, Gemini. I use like Claude. I use like 5 of them every day for different things. Like I know which one is best for which, So I definitely use artificial intelligence, and I'm very proud of it. And I think that's one of the most powerful technology that we in tech has produced. And I'm so happy about the adoption. My only concern is the abuse. And my only concern is people really not understanding some of these things, right? Before I address, ChatGPT going straight to the point, and, I also want to address the fact that I personally would feel safer with it. Currently, would feel safer with a therapist, talking to a therapist, because I know that my information is safe, right? But for ChatGPT, not so. And I think that people don't understand that yet, right? At the bottom of, any AI you use to tell you, please don't give too much personal information to this, because as it's giving it, it's using it to train itself, and it will also give others. We've seen instances where your competitor is literally seeing exactly what you do because somebody in your company has given to ChatGPT innocently saying, oh, I have an assignment. We're expecting this product from China, and how do I market it? And the other competitor would go and say, hey, tell me about what's going on in so company. It will give it to you because AI currently, most of them, some are being now privacy conscious, most of them are not privacy conscious. So your information is what it's using to train itself. As I said, if a child is at home hearing your conversation, you won't be surprised. Oh, my mommy just bought so car. When it goes to school, it's excited to talk about it. The same way AI works, right? It gets those information from you and analyzes them and also use them to train other people. That's why to tell you, oh, I've heard this before. I've heard. No, if you're discussing with ChatGPT, even for therapy issues, right? Like, oh, you're not the first person to be pregnant, don't worry. Especially in your country, or black person, because a lot of people have like, I'm pregnant, what do I do? It's getting those information and also giving it out, right?
We're running out of time.
There's an issue around privacy as well.
Yeah, we're running out of time, but I just want to ask this last question before we go. We can do this in 30 seconds. Okay. So there's this belief and this fear that you might not type anything on your phone. You might just be having that thought in your brain. Many people say that maybe you're thinking about where to get ice cream. And you think, I want to eat ice cream, I want to take ice cream, I want to eat ice cream. So it's all in your brain. You've not typed it. Yeah. But all of a sudden, when you pick up your phone and you're checking TikTok, or you're checking Instagram, you start seeing.
I won't lie to you.
You start seeing such. You see ice cream. Like, I never typed this on my phone, and I'm seeing ice cream. How does this thing know I want to take ice cream? So, what's the brain behind? In 30 seconds before we leave, what's the brain behind it?
All right. So most of the time, when we download apps, it will ask you to accept permission for voice, and also allow you access other apps. So one app have access to your microphone. As I'm talking, my Instagram can hear everything I'm saying, even though I'm not on it, right? Most of the platform. And they can also read your conversation from other platforms as well. So you might be telling your friend, oh, I'm actually hungry, I want to get ice cream. You might say it out. You might, just Google something else, right? And it will come to Instagram because you're giving it permission to that. And that's exactly one of the dangers as well. It's to gather the algorithm and give you exactly the closest. If you say you prefer strawberry, it would advertise exactly what you want to you. And I mean, we're not as safe as we think we are. That's
okay, we run out of time. Let's go. Thank you very much for coming. Ifeanyi Olabode is a business development manager. We're going to have you here again some other time. I want to talk more about this artificial intelligence because it's a thing.
Yeah.
So we hope to invite you some other time to talk more about it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming. Guys, we need to leave.
Yeah, at least I learned a few things about AI and most importantly, privacy.
Yeah, privacy.
Just like you said. So at least moving forward, now, even if I don't use it, but at least I can tell people, oh, you're passing too much information to this online.
I would definitely need regulation.
Yeah. So,
and I think
I've learned one of
that's the balance we need right now.
I'm on you don't use it when we know that you might be using it.
There's nothing wrong with it. I think everyone should use artificial intelligence.
Let's go, time.
So when Ifeanyi Olabode says, mind what you put on AI, your privacy and still talk to AI, but also still know what to tell
yes, just
AI.
know
That's
the balance,
for you
know
to
the
use on number
boundaries.
6.
Yeah,
I'm Elizabeth Shlari. talking. See you next week.
Thank you very much for watching Breakfast in Bed. You have a fabulous weekend. Go out, enjoy yourself. We know that there's increase in price in the price of fuel. Yeah, there's increase in the price of. We don't know if there's electricity, but whatever. Just make sure you enjoy yourself. Your mental health is very important. Do have a fabulous weekend. My name is Bababumi Baby. Bye bye.